Morning, we're working around the theme of leveraging triple helix model to accelerate the commercialization of research and innovation in Nigeria. Since 1996, the triple helix model has been adopted by very many countries, and it has proven to be a successful model in terms of going from ideas generation to creating some bit of entrepreneurship around these ideas and ultimately commercializing these ideas, whether they be innovative ideas or they be just ideas that are meeting the needs of respective industries, not just oil and gas at this time, but across the entire spread of our socio-economic life as a people. So today we are delighted, we're excited that the triple helix model is being launched in Nigeria, and we're also super excited that we are joined this morning by the president of the Triple Helix Association himself, who will be talking to us shortly when we get to that part of the event. Thank you most kindly for joining us. We're also joined this morning by one game changer amongst the government agencies of Nigeria, the Nigerian Content Development and Monitoring Board. Now, this agency of government has been at the forefront of pushing for research and development, and as well as utilizing the results of this R&D efforts, not just in the academia, but in the industry. So we welcome the Chief Executive Officer and Executive Secretary of the Nigerian Content Development and Monitoring Board, who will also be speaking to us later today, Engineer Simbi Kesie Wabote, a fellow of the Nigerian Society of Engineers. Sir, you're welcome to this call, and we can't wait to listen to you. We're also joined by the African Regional Lead for Triple Helix Association, Dr. Chucks Daniel. Dr. Chucks, a warm welcome to you. Here you're dialing all the way from the King's Island of London. We welcome you. We're also joined this morning by the Executive Secretary of our Nigerian National Universities Commission. Now, this is the body that oversees everything that goes on in our university, from the curriculum, and all of that, what is taught, what should or should not be taught. So we're excited as well that they have found time to join us this morning. We welcome you. Thank you, NUC, represented by the Director of Academic Planning, Dr. N.B. Saliu. A warm welcome to you. We're also being joined by another expert with the triple helix model, Dr. Alain Fig-Lioli. You'll be listening to her. You'll learn a bit more about her. Well, the Vice President of Triple Helix Association is also joining us, Professor Daria. Dr. Daria, you will also get to learn from her. Of course, our incoming executives of the Triple Helix Nigeria chapter, we welcome and thank you for your effort, Mr. Abdul Malik Halilu. Thank you so much. Thank God, Ebe, and the entire team. You get to meet them shortly. Let me not let the cat out of the bag at this time. You get to meet them, but I must say that we should applaud them. We should appreciate all of them who have worked assiduously, in seeing that today comes to fruition. My name is Richmond Osuji, and I will just give us a quick rundown in a minute or two of what the agenda is looking like, and then we'll take the national anthem thereafter and proceed. So once I'm done with my opening formalities, we'll take the national anthem. After that, we'll take a documentary on the global THA. A welcome address will follow, and then a keynote address will follow after that. After the keynote address, we will take another presentation, this time a success story from a country that has done so well with this, a country that we are similar with in terms of local content and the oil and gas business and many likes, and population as well, Brazil. We'll take that case study, and then we'll go into leveraging that case study and bringing it, adapting it to Nigeria. At that time, we'll be listening to our Executive Secretary of NCDMB. We'll also listen to the Chairman of the Board of Cypher Crescent, Engineer Alec Musa, who's also here. We thank you for joining us, Engineer Alec Musa, a seasoned industry expert of many decades as well. The NUC will talk to us at that time as well. Then the Vice President of the Triple Helix Association Global will talk to us. They will then inaugurate the THA Executives for Nigeria chapter, after which the Chairman of the Nigerian chapter will give us an insight into their short-term plan on how they intend to operationalize Triple Helix in Nigeria. Good messages will follow from across the continent of Africa, from some government agencies in Nigeria, and then from a renowned professor who is also here with us, Professor Ajayinka. A very good morning to you, a one-time Vice Chancellor of one of the universities that has been modeling themselves in an entrepreneurial way in the country. A lot of thanks will follow, and a closing comments from the MC myself will follow, and that will be our program for the next hour or two. So at this juncture, I would ask us to please, wherever you're seated, let's honor Nigeria as you stand for the national anthem. If you can please go ahead and roll the national anthem. seated. Thank you very much. God bless the Federal Republic of Nigeria. God bless the International Association of Triple Helix, and of course the Africa region, and now the Nigeria chapter. Once again, a warm welcome to everyone. We'll go straight into the business of the morning. We will now, I hope that we are ready with the documentary, Ita. Let me know if we are, or yourself or Tombari. Someone should let me know if we're ready. Now, as I said, it's a model that has become an association, has become an advocacy force globally since around 1996. And since that time, many countries who have adopted it have attested to the fact that they have been able to gain a considerable mileage in terms of innovation, research, development, and ultimate development across the different sectors of the economy. This documentary will just attempt to tell a bit of that story for the next 10 or so minutes. Once we're done with the documentary, I will come back and take the welcome address from our Africa regional lead. So, Ita or Tombari, can we roll the documentary now? Thank you. If we're not ready with the documentary, we can proceed with the welcome address and then come back to the documentary once you're ready with it. Just give me a sign. Dr. Chuck Daniel, Africa Regional Lead Triple Helix Association. Good morning. Please confirm you're on the call and let's hear you greet our wonderful attendees.
I am on the call. Good morning.
Good morning, everyone. So I would have you to go ahead with the welcome address, and once you're done, we will then go over to the documentary. But for now, the V2 platform is all yours to welcome. I'm sure you are excited. Nigeria is being launched today, and as the Africa Regional Lead for Triple Helix Association, this should put some real good smile on your face, and I can't wait to work with you moving ahead. Over to you, sir.
I am very excited. Good morning, everyone, and welcome to this very important meeting. We've started the Triple Helix on a very regional basis, but before we get into the details, I would like to check if Professor Michael Khan has been able to join the call. Michael, are you with us? Okay, if and when Michael joins, he's our regional coordinator for South Africa. He will be able to come in and share and say and bring greetings from South Africa. We also have a regional coordination office in Tanzania, who's she's on the move at the moment and traveling, but also promised to join in case we can do that. So with that, just to introduce those colleagues, welcome everyone. Thank you to the first of all to the Nigerian team who have done impressive and incredible work to be able to pull this off and get this within a short time and within the challenges we have. We also like to welcome the Nigerian government who have participated in this in a very impressive way as well and supported the launch, supported the activities that has been going on. We have the International Triple Helix body here with us present. Joseph is here with us as International President leading, but also bringing a greetings from the resource base, from the resource base of the international office. So we'd like to welcome everyone. The key message I have today beyond the welcome is just to say that as we set up the Triple Helix Nigeria, we've taken a regional focus in Africa to ensure that there is a connection between the different parts of the continent. So Nigeria has been launched today, and the inauguration is happening. But we're also working in South Africa. We're working on Tanzania, and there are other countries that are also in the pipeline working. So we're starting it on this basis, because we're taking off from the experience as well, which has worked in Brazil, which we'll hear later, and other regions. Triple Helix is moving into the regional approach where there is more connectedness. The idea is not simply to look at research, innovation, and policy actors at country level. We're also looking at regional levels now to be able to bring the ideas together. The Triple Helix model is based on interactive learning of innovation and interactive communication and coordination among the major innovation actors. So we'll have the government represented here very strongly. We also have the universities represented here, but we have industry represented here. So without much ado, I'm going to welcome everyone. So we have our international bodies represented. Like I said, we'll be hearing from Brazil, we'll be hearing from Spain, we're currently hearing from the UK. So this is a good meeting we have. Again, congratulations and many thanks to the team in Nigeria, ably led by Abdul Malik, and thank God working on that. I don't know, can you hear me? I seem to be disconnected a little bit. I'll continue. Please, can I get?
We hear you. We can hear you as you're running.
All right. Thank you. So that's to say, welcoming everyone, welcoming our colleagues from South Africa again, from Tanzania, but also from Nigeria, who are the host today, as the lead now developing the chapter. We'll be learning, but also we'll be coordinating and connecting with the other chapters in the region. So thank you all. I'll check again if Michael is around before I just end this one, before I end my talk, to see if we can bring greeting from South Africa. Michael, are you able to join us by any chance? Okay, if anyone sees Michael on the call, please let me know. But it says on the
I will let you know. I will let you know via the chat box once we see it.
So thank you all again. We will not take much time to do this, but just to say welcome everyone, and thank you all for making the time to join. We really appreciate the international presence here and the support for the center, led by, again, I know Joseph will send message to Henry Escovis and our global international leaders as well, who have been at the center of setting up. We had a good meeting last year in Italy, where a lot of this work that you're seeing today was also developed, was also put together. So thank you all to the team, and I welcome you all, and I can declare this open. Thank you.
All right, thank you so much, Dr. Chicks Daniel. He is Africa Regional Lead for the International Triple Helix Association. That's Triple Helix Association. Okay, so I'm going to just do a quick read through of a short history about the THA. I'll try and do a quick read through. This would be in place of the documentary that we would have heard. So if you just, I beg your indulgence for the next few minutes, I'll try and be as quick as I can with it. And just especially for the benefit of those who are just joining this and hearing about Triple Helix for the very first time, this is for their benefit. Of course, beyond today, there will be avenues where you can go and make your inquiries and learn a bit more about Triple Helix Association as we launch it today in Nigeria. About THA, the history of Triple Helix movement. The movement launched by Professor Henry Escovis and Professor Lloyd Lesdesdorf began in 1996 when a workshop was organized in Amsterdam to discuss the Triple Helix model. This first workshop brought together up to 90 researchers and attracted participation from Latin America, Europe, North America, Australia, and Asia. The first workshop was subsequently referred to as the first international conference on the Triple Helix. The second international Triple Helix conference was organized 2 years later in New York, USA in 1998, followed by biannual events in Rio de Janeiro, Brazil in 2000, Copenhagen in Denmark and Lod, Sweden in 2002, Turin in Italy in 2005, Singapore in 2007, and Glasgow, the United Kingdom in 2009. These conferences explore scientific research in the field of the relationship of science, industry, and government, and their role in creating the conditions for future innovation, the importance of location, the capitalization of knowledge, cognitive, economic, social, and cultural aspects of innovation, emerging models for the entrepreneurial university, regional diversities and global convergence, boundary spanning interactions, linking the different national cultures and innovation systems, job creation, and social wealth. The great number of participants demanded the coordination of intensified annual events and Triple Helix conferences after 2009. The growing interest and participation in Triple Helix movement led also to the idea of creating an association that is able to pull together and facilitate interactions among international scholars sharing common research interests. In 2009, the creation of the Triple Helix Association, THA, took place in Turin, Italy, where the THA Association is headquartered at Fondazione Rosselli and is chaired by Professor Henry Escoves, having Professor Loet Lesdesov and Professor Jose Manuel Carvalho de Mello as vice presidents. The creation of the association and the organization of subsequent annual conferences opened space for the engagement on an annual basis with multiple stakeholders, academics, scientists, policymakers, and practitioners with interest in the Triple Helix model. The annual conference in Madrid, Spain 2010 was focused on the cities of knowledge and expanding knowledge and connecting regions. The annual event in 2011 was held in the Silicon Valley, California, United States of America, and shifted the emphasis to the global aspects of the Triple Helix model. While the 2012 annual event in Bandung, Indonesia, extended the emphasis on developing countries. The London event in 2012 brought the issue of open innovation and invited participants to change the Triple Helix model while extending and deepening the application of the conceptual apparatus created as part of the evolution of the Triple Helix academic community. The large number of participants, over 300 of them, were from 35 countries, indicated the emergence of the Triple Helix movement anchored by the THA Association, which has evolved into global organization with 6 regional network structure. Now, I'm going to leave the rest information that is down the line, and I would encourage us as the Triple Helix Nigeria chapter shares this information across their social media handles, especially on LinkedIn and on their webpage. I will encourage us to go look at it to learn, a bit more on the history of this novel association. But let me just stop where it shows the slide that shows the regional network structure, where we're looking at the different regions where there's Triple Helix already. We have North America, we have Europe, we have North Asia, South Asia, Latin America, and of course Africa, which is adding one today with Nigeria coming on stream. So distinguished ladies and gentlemen, that is a brief on the Triple Helix Association, how it started, where it is today, and why, as a nation, we must all become a part of what is unfolding here today. Now, that said, I'm going to quickly go over to my first keynote speaker, which is on leveraging Triple Helix model to accelerate the commercialization of research innovation in Nigeria. I will then just take a moment. I wouldn't just take a moment, if you will indulge me, to just tell us a short brief about our speaker who is coming to talk to us as our first keynote speaker. Okay. He is the president of the International Association of Science, Parks, and Areas of Innovation, and executive president of La Salle Tecnova Barcelona. He holds engineering degrees from La Salle and UPC, and MBA from ESADE. He holds also diplomas from the MIT, UC Berkeley, and Ramon Llull University. He has been the CEO of 2022 at Barcelona and CEO of the Office of Economic Growth of Barcelona. He has published in international journals and congresses and has authored 3 books. His current interests are in the areas of ecosystems of innovation, science parks, entrepreneurship, and open innovation. But of great importance to us this morning is that he's going to speak to us as the President Triple Helix Association. I'm delighted now to yield the virtual platform to Professor Joseph Miguel Pique. Professor Pique, good morning. Welcome. The stage is yours for the next couple of minutes.
Hello, everybody. I am so happy to be here with you today for sharing this moment, historical moment for, in one case, Nigeria, but also for the Triple Helix movement. As the chairman of the session was explaining, we are a global movement around the world, and what we are doing is trying to promote the transformation of our societies using the work and the capabilities of universities, government, and industry in alliance with the society and with global impact. My speech will be just first sharing what is the Triple Helix Association, and for that I will share my slides, if I may, in order to explain to you how we are working. First, this agenda I will divide in two levels: the official agenda and also some remarks of the theory and the model of the Triple Helix. Let me start with the mission. We, the Triple Helix Association, have the mission for leading studies about the interaction between universities, business, and government in order to promote research and innovation. This is important because we are a research association in order to know more about these interactions, how the universities will connect with government or with business, how we can create hybrid organizations, how can we transfer better technology to the market, how the business can really take advantage of the framework of the law of the government in order to promote more innovation, or how can we work together for common challenges. This is important because it means that we are a research association in order to generate new knowledge, but also we want this knowledge to be applied. That's the reason why we work in depth in order to promote and disseminate this knowledge, these findings, in order to show to the policymakers, to the managers of companies, and also to the leaders of the universities, in order to understand how they can collaborate in order to promote these realities. For that, we work in different ways. In order to do that, for instance, we work in international symposium, for instance, the Triple Helix conference that I will share with you how we work. Also, we promote the exchange between scholars and practitioners, or also we promote the publications. For instance, the Triple Helix Association is promoting the Triple Helix Journal. Also, we recognize the bad behaviors of the people in order to understand how people or institutions are working in an appropriate way in order to promote the interactions between university, industry, and government. And also, we train students, teachers, and professionals from all over the world in order to be sure that they have the skills and capabilities to be the leaders and the transformers of their reality. At the end of the day, we translate the model, the academic models, into practice in order to be sure that our knowledge is serving the reality in order to be transformed. Let me tell you that also we open the membership for different perspectives. It means this is not only for researchers, could be practitioners or policymakers that they want to know more and they want to make contributions for this world transformation and local transformation. For that, we create the vision. When I was designated as a president of the Triple Helix Association, we were creating a strategy. This strategy has a clear vision. And the vision is really to be the global reference on the Triple Helix knowledge network interaction. In other words, what we want is to be sure that we are a global reference for scholars, practitioners, and policymakers in the research and development of the interaction between universities, industry, and government, understanding that the Triple Helix is adding also the 4 Helix, society, and the 5 Helix, the environment. For that, we are working in a strategy that is combining 3 levels. The first one, publications. Publications mean that we want to disseminate the knowledge and we want to allow the researchers, PhD students, and senior researchers to publish in our journal. This is a journal indexed by Scopus, and we believe that this is a good way in a peer review process to validate any contribution of the knowledge. Second is about events. We need celebrations like today. We need a celebration for sharing what we learn, for connecting people at the end of the day, for understanding that we are together in this commitment and this endeavor. But also, as we are creating a community, we want to connect different people, not only locally, also internationally, in order to work in a common purpose. For that, for instance, we have the Triple Helix Journal that is really a reference. Nowadays, it's growing and growing in citations, and we invite all the audience to submit their papers in this Triple Helix Journal because we will have the opportunity to validate the contribution, but also to recognize and publish the different papers and works of the audience. But also, we want to be sure that the practitioners learn and read in appropriate way, not only research papers, also practitioner papers. That's the reason why we have a Helix best practice series in order to allow the politicians, allow the policymakers, allow the practitioners that how can they apply this knowledge in a practice way. Another way, also we work in events like today, but also in a global events. For instance, this year we had an incredible event. Some of you from Nigeria were attending, and I recognize that you were really very active in this conference, because we were debating in this case from the process of the triple helix and how we really can be managing governing the new international partnerships for innovation and development in the post-pandemic world. Remember that we were working in this COVID and post-COVID world, and the triple helix were really reacting in a very effective way when we had ecosystems of innovation that were working together for common challenges. But also we train people from all over the world in order to be sure that they are, if they are researchers, they have some connections with the top researchers, but also skills, knowledge, and methodologies for doing a better research, but also for practitioners, how to apply this knowledge. For all of that, we want to combine the conference, the forums, and the training in order to promote this interaction. But I want also to highlight the concept of community. Let me tell you that in the last board, we decided to join Asia and Pacific in order to be sure that we had a common connection. But in the case, Africa is one of our focus. We want to grow in Africa, and we need cornerstones. That's the reason why Nigeria for us is a cornerstone for the strategy in Africa. We believe that today, in an historical day, we are starting the strategy with Africa. Let me thank a lot Chuck for his leadership, and also Cristiane, Aline, and Daria, promoting that we want not only to impact in countries that we suppose that the interactions already exist. We want to stimulate in North America, in Latin America, in Africa, in Europe, and Asia Pacific. How can we work in chapters and special interest groups? Also, in terms of the special interest groups, let me highlight that the chapters are working locally in a national level and also regional level, but we want to highlight a different special groups of people that have some common interests. For instance, let me highlight the Science Park and Incubator, the Entrepreneurial Universities, or Network Intelligence, the new special interest group with the leadership of Daria Tata, that you will have the opportunity to listen later. But my last message in this part of the agenda was that we want to invite you to be in Barcelona in the next year. Next year we have an incredible conference, will be incredible because we are in the post-COVID times, and we want to invite all of you to be here working for entrepreneurial and engaged universities for sustainable development. This is very important because we are linking education, research, and innovation to achieve the SDGs and ESGs. Very important because this is an alliance of the Triple Helix. The ACEEU is the accreditation of entrepreneurial universities, and La Salle University, my university, that will host this event. This is a QR that you can go directly to the website, and also I invite you to submit your abstract. This abstract, it's an abstract that must be submitted before the end of January. It means you have like 2 months for working this abstract, and we will select the best abstract in order to show the results during the conference that will be in June 26 and 29 of 2023 in Barcelona. I hope that we will meet all together in Barcelona, because I feel that this is a wonderful opportunity to connect and to learn together about the practice. And now let me go to the more conceptual and more theoretical framework. First, because we know that innovation starts when we transform opportunities in value. It means we need people, technology, and capital. Very important thing, but very important to create ecosystems that transform these opportunities in value. Without people, talent, at the end of the day, technology, and capital, it's very complex. and we have to create ecosystem that combine in the best way this technology, this talent, and this finance. For all of that, we have the opportunity to create concepts, to create early validations, to create market traction, scalability, and validate the scalability and predict the scalability. This is important because it is the process of innovation, and in every step, we need different talent, technology, and finance. For that, we believe that when we understand that an ecosystem is a combination between startups and corporates that work together, and the startups are the source of disruptive innovation of corporates, and the corporates do innovation because they buy startups as a way to absorb the technology inside the business model, we discover that it's an ecosystem of innovation that is working together. How? Understanding the startups are the source of this innovation, and they have to know the exit plans they want. If not, nobody will invest in these startups, and they will not be ready for the corporates to be adopted. For that, we believe that we have to combine a process of exploration with a process of exploitation, a process of research with a process of execution. For all of that, we believe that we have to combine how students of PhD students and master students and researchers, they transform ideas into products, into value propositions in order to be sure that they validate the customer, validate the cost, and also create the customer and go to the exit plans. Very important thing, because we are today in a moment of disruptive innovation. We are in a real tsunami of technologies. We have IoT, sensoring, communications, data, big data, artificial intelligence, different technologies that are ready to be adopted, but it's very complex to apply technology directly. The best way to apply technology when we want to find disruptive models, in this case, disruptive innovation, we need to use the entrepreneurial behavior as a tool to transform technology in real value propositions. For all of that, we believe that the AAA has to work in different levels, because talent, technology, and finance and money are the three elements, but the agents are government, university, and industry, and everyone is providing the best of them. The government with the framework of the taxation, also with the law, the regulation. Why not as a public procurement, and also doing the best as an organization in terms of how they do innovation, the first in class. Government must be the first in class in terms of innovation. But also university is the source of talent because it's the output of education. It's the source of technology because that's the output of the research. But also it's the source of the new technology-based companies. That's very important as a way of transfer, not only the OTLs, the technology transfer of it, also to transfer through new startups. And the industry, not only with corporates, SME, and also investors. For all of that, we can add the quadruple and quintuple helix as the demand side of the helix. Quadruple and quintuple helix are helix that we need for applying, for validating the proposals, for the market needs, and for the challenges, social and environmental challenges. For all of that, we need the triple helix working in the 4 phases: inception, launching, growing, and maturity. And that's the reason why we believe that the project that you are leading in Nigeria is in an appropriate way. You are understanding and reading very well the triple helix movement, because you want to be beyond a research movement. You want to be a transformer of your reality in Nigeria. That is a wonderful news for the nation. And this is the reason because we support and endorse this launch. Because we believe that when we work in clusters, we work together, government, industry, and research community, we have the possibility and the capability to transform realities, understanding that you have big corporates, startups, the government, and also the different institutions around the cluster. But remember that this cluster is not just a classical cluster. We have to combine entrepreneurs, investors, and corporates, because they will create the path to growth. Very important thing, because the new future is in the hands of entrepreneurs. They are writing the future, they are creating the future, they are developing new jobs, they are developing new business model. That's the reason why we see how new startups are hacking the reality, sending messages that they will transform the reality with new technologies. That's the reason why the corporates, they need to read very well the entrepreneurs, and they need to adopt and buy this startup. With all of that, we have universities and government creating the best framework, but also lawyers and professionals that will help the entrepreneurs to manage in an appropriate way. For all of that, we believe that if we understand that we have a global innovation ecosystem, it's important to have in a local dimension to be a place of learning. This is what they say, that the local dimension is a global competitive advantage. If we learn locally in order to scale globally, we need to use the local dimension as a living lab, as a place for learning in order to scale globally. For all of that, the triple helix are the highways of the ecosystems of innovation, the hubs of innovation, and we have to promote the mobility of talent, technology, and finance. Last message, the knowledge-based economy is about talent, and talent means that we need to manage talent. And manage talent means not only to generate talent, to create talent, sure, but also to attract and return talent from all over the world in order to be sure that they provide the best of them for the economic and social development. At the end of the day, the ecosystems of innovation needs a lot of things: research universities, entrepreneurs, investors, infrastructures, but also need quality of life. Why we say quality of life at Tapamoro, we'll explain to that. Because talent needs a place for working and living, not only for working. That's the reason why we, the Triple X Association, we promote not only the urban and physical transformation, we promote the economic and social transformation. Thank you very much for all of you, and I will be very happy to support all these women, not only now, also for all the days of the future. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Prof. PK. Professor PK has given us quite an insight as to what they do at the Triple Helix Association, and he's quite excited that Nigeria is going to become a cornerstone here for Africa, the African region. This is truly incisive. When we talk about technology transfer, this is arguably the best way to go about it, building the capacity in the regions and finding the right channel to make sure that they go and get on into the market to stimulate the economy of respective countries. So thank you very much once again, sir. We truly appreciate your insights. Okay, we're going to continue with our presentations. Brazil. I said at the beginning that Brazil is one country that has leveraged this model, and Brazil, when it comes to oil and gas, for instance, Brazil is said to be managing a robust local content policy. Brazil is such a managing a robust local content policy, and in the Triple Helix model, when I learn of what the academia is doing with the industry in Brazil, I now know that Triple Helix would have played no small measure in bringing that to fruition. So how has it been operationalized in Brazil, and what can we learn from it is our next spotlight that we're looking at now. And bringing us that information is a professional who started her career with a degree in economics and an MBA in controlling and finance. She had planned to work on the financial sector, but after 1 year working for a bank, she decided to return to the university to engage in a master's degree course, which focused on innovation. Her supervisor hired her to work in a project of technology park that the university was planning. She carried her master and PhD research with a focus on the issues she found when working at the technology park. The postdoctor carried at Citrim was also focused on entrepreneurial ecosystems builders, particularly business incubators, technology parks, accelerators, living labs, etc. And when you listen to the president, PK, you would see that he touched base with some of these things that our next speaker is an expert in and has practiced in her home country. How have they operationalized it, and what can we learn from it? I yield it now to you, Dr. Aline Figlioli. Dr. Aline?
Yes.
Good morning. Is it good afternoon where you are?
Good morning. I'm in the UK right now.
Oh, you're in the UK, so you're morning.
Yes.
You're very much morning. All right. So share with us the success stories in Brazil and the lessons learned so far.
And first of all, I'd like to thank God for the invite. And it's a pleasure to be here with you and have the chance to talk a little in 15 minutes about the triple helix operationalization in Brazil. I hope you can see my screen. Can you confirm that you can see my screen?
Yes, okay, Doctor.
Perfect.
Yeah, we can see.
So yes, I'm a senior research fellow at Centrim, that is the Center for Change Entrepreneurship and Innovation Management of the University of Brighton. And before, I have a long career in Brazil. I worked for technology parks. I did consultants for technology parks, incubators, and I had the pleasure to work for a government as well. So I have been working through to universities, to governments, and to private companies as well. So I'm a different animal in this type of belonging to different types of organizations. And Professor Marcio Miranda, that is the current president of the Brazilian chapter, asked me to present today. So then so let's start with showing a bit about what we are doing. So just to show where we are, here is Brazil, and you know that because we're now winning the World Cup. Okay, let's mention it just after we finish, but we have very nice matches until now. So Brazil, it's has an interesting story related to the triple helix engagement. It started in 1987 with the first technology parks and incubators being implemented in Brazil, and with the government fostering most of them. Just for you to have a first glimpse at the Brazil economy, we are a small country with 8.5 million square kilometers, with a population of more than 200 million people. That puts us in this as the seventh country in the world in terms of population. A GDP of around 3.6 trillion. That puts us in the 9th position around the world, and the GDP per capita, that it's around $17,000. That puts us in the 88th position in the world. So there is something that we have to work on, and innovation, technology development is one of the strategies that we are assuming to do it, that we are betting on it in order to close the gap between the GDP and the GDP per capita. So Brazilian Triple Helix chapter, as I told you before, the first initiatives goes back to 1986, 1987, and the research around it, that is one of the most important things that the Triple Helix promoted to create knowledge around the Triple Helix engagements. It started in the Federal Fluminense University, that is in Rio, in Brazil. And it has been diffused by a research center led by Professor Marcelo Amaral, that has been working with the Triple Helix framework since 1999. And it starts with the organization of the workshop of the Triple Helix in Rio in 1999, and after it hosted the International Triple Helix Conference in the 2000s. And since then, this group has been promoting publications, promoting research, and in 2015, it has oriented its research focus to innovation environments, like incubators and technology parks. There is a link for its blog that you can see now, and there you will find the publications and the most recent events that they are disseminating. It started with the Triple Helix group in Brazil, and currently it is hosted by the University of São Paulo. That is where I did my PhD, my master's degree, and also worked in the technology park. So, numbers about the university. It is one of the best universities in Latin America. We have more than 95,000 students, which of them around 60,000 are undergraduates, 30,000 postgraduates, and we have around 5,383 academic staff. As most of, actually, as all the public universities in Brazil, as University of São Paulo is a public university, as most of the public universities, we have an innovation agency that is extremely important to change the culture of these universities. And then we have the Agência USP de Inovação that is responsible for all the technology transfer policies of the university and supports research with technology transfer and all the engagements with the society. So then with the innovation agency, this relation with the university, governments and companies were facilitated. And this type of innovation agency was actually born because there was an innovation law in Brazil. So the importance of the government fostering or supporting with the right legislation that allows universities to work with companies is one of the lessons learned, a very important one, and I will come back to it later. The University of São Paulo has, in partnership with the Institute of Nuclear Energy, it created CIETEC, that is the largest incubator for technology-based companies in Latin America. They are with around more than 100 companies now, and more than 170 companies were graduated from CIETEC. It shows the strength of innovation that is fostered by a strong university as well. And currently, one of the most important events promoted in the Triple Helix chapter is the SciBiz, that is Science Meets Business. And Science Meets Business is has as its mission to integrate researchers, entrepreneurs, and investors, accelerating and scaling the process of transforming invention into innovation. So, of course, we know that most of the universities all around the world, it's still the culture of to hold technology, hold knowledge. It is still a problem in some of them, and this in this type of events helps to unpack what is inside the university, what has the potential to be commercialized or to be developed in partnership. So then it aims to attract to the university executives, startups, scientists, investors, students, and governments, where together they will share knowledge and create solutions to generate business opportunities, focusing on real challenges of the society and the market. But in order to do that, they have several dimensions in this conference. The first one is the conference itself, where we can send our papers, academic papers, our research papers about this relation on the triple helix relation. And the second dimension of these conferences are the challenges. So they promote with a sponsor. The sponsor last year was TIM, that is a telecom company. This company presents challenges that startups can address, and these challenges are worked throughout the event. Worked out. So we have the startups fair, where startups from the whole Brazil can apply to be there, a technology showroom as well to showcase what startups in Brazil has been doing, as well as the researchers in the university has been doing, and awards to scientists and to companies around their innovation projects. So it's a different type of event where we really put together all these triple helix agents, and it hosted in 2021 the Triple Helix International Conference. So events like that united the strong universities with startups, investments, and government. Of course, they create a different type of environment that actually allows triple helix to happen. And just so I'd like to invite you for the CIBIS Conference 2023. The website is here. It will be launched soon, the 2023 version, and hope to have you in São Paulo with us. And of course, this event and this fostering publications through these events is extremely important, because as Piquet explained, it creates research on the triple helix. We're using triple helix framework, looking at the different agents, how the different agents behave, which are the components of these actors that are actually in the ecosystem, what is missing in the ecosystem. So all these discussions are incredibly fruitful for the movement. But at the same time, I'd like to show you not just the academic part of it in Brazil, as I have some experience there. I'd like to show what has also happening in terms of initiatives that combines industry, governments, and universities. So if you look at this map, we can see the map in the left is about technology parks and the right is incubators. So just some numbers around it. We have in Brazil nowadays 57 technology parks in operation that generates around 33,000 jobs with around 2,300 companies. So it shows the strength of promoting triple helix initiatives. Most of these parks are inside universities. They are supported by local authorities, and some of them received money from the government, the federal government. So the full set of triple helix actors are in action. And what about incubators? In Brazil, we have a long story of establishing business incubators. Again, most of them are related to universities or local governments. We have around 360 business incubators, 57 accelerators. They generate more than 54,000 jobs and 75,000 jobs from the graduated companies. After a company spend 2-3 years in the incubator, they leave the incubator, they are called graduated companies, and they are generating now around 375,000 jobs. It's an interesting number, considering that these incubators are running since the late 80s, but it was strengthened. The number grew a lot in the 2000s. I would like to show two examples because there's one that deals with the agro business and another one with oil and gas. One of the examples is Tupera Technology Park. That is, the buildings are inside the area of the University of São Paulo, in the countryside, in a city called Ribeirão Preto. And it is a partnership, it's very interesting partnership, where the local government, the city, has the management of the park. And the state of São Paulo also provided resources to put it in place. So what we found there, we found companies from IT, health, chemistry, biotech, pharmaceutical companies, automation, cosmetics, and agro-technology. Some of them, because the park is in the area of the university, some of them, they come from the university itself, researchers from the university, students from the university, open their companies there. And why they go there? Because, of course, there's a benefit to be close to the university. There is a tax incentive. Piquet just mentioned the importance of tax incentives. So they have tax incentives, and also the city, the municipality provides tax incentives for the companies to be there. But it's not all. Although the tax and although to be in the park, it's important, you have all the services that the parks provide, and the park provides services to promote the companies, to promote entrepreneurship, to foster the innovation management process in these companies. So it is a full package of body, buildings, and soul that is the service that they receive. Another important initiative in Brazil, linked now to oil and gas, is the Technology Park of the Federal University of Rio de Janeiro, where we have big companies. The park, it's in an island, and in this island we have big companies, with some of them does research around oil and gas equipment, such as pipes and other types of products that that is required by the industry. And in the same place where we have these big companies, we have labs that provides services to them. So we have two of them here. That is the Laboratory for Ocean Technology that belongs to the university, belongs to COPE, that is one unity of research of the university that deals with the simulation of the ocean environment, and NEO, that performs studies and tests and flexible lines for the exploration of oil and gas in deep waters. So it's a mix of the university with its own competences, putting in place labs that has connection with the industry, and the industry being attracted to be in this area and to work together with the university. So the role of the government in Brazil, I just put some of the most important features of it, and I thought I think that this is one summary of what we find in Brazil. All the ecosystem was put in place, it's able to work because you have the right foundations. And of course, it can be improved. Everything can be improved. But the Brazilian innovation law, the first one that I put here, it allowed the universities to work with companies and to invest with companies and open up to receive companies in their own buildings and labs. So this was extremely important. And it also required universities to have innovation offices, technology transfer offices. The second and the third line here, informatics law and law of the good, law do bem, it's a tax incentive law that allows companies to use the investment on innovation, research and development to have a deduction in their tax. So it also promotes innovation, of course, because the risk of innovation is diminished. And we have here the Banco Nacional de Desenvolvimento Econômico Social, that is the National Bank of Development, that has also programs to support innovation in big and also in small companies. So then this is about credit, financing the companies. CNPq, CAPES, there is the two main organizations that provides scholarships in Brazil and that provides money to research. So then without this money from research, there's no way of having critical mass that can go to research and can be translated into solutions to the society. So CNPq and CAPES are extremely important for the whole ecosystem, as well as the foundations, CONFAP, that is the National Council of the Foundations, the state foundations that support research. So then not just the federal government, but the state government has a very important role in terms of supporting research and also provide money to technology parks to be in place and to have the studies carried out, feasibility studies of technology parks and incubators, and also to provide resources for startups as well. Recently, you have the foundations providing grants for startups, and it has been in the latest years a very important source of resources as seed money from these companies. And one of the most important agencies in Brazil, for sure, related to the innovation and that supports the entire ecosystem, it's FINEP. Unfortunately, this graphic is in Portuguese, but here we can see the stages of development of a company from startup, with small, medium, large, and corporate. And here we can see all the support, then grants in the light green, and we have investment in this a bit more stronger green, and credit in the dark green. So we can see that FINEP has provided support in terms of resources, financial resources, for the whole set of the stages of business development. So it's extremely important for a company to find the right resource, its grants, credit, or investment for a different phase of its development, and all related to innovation. So here we can see the right regulation, we can see the creation of a critical mass through CNPq, CAPES, and CONFAP, and funds as well to support the entire ecosystem. So then I think that in a nutshell, this is a very, very brief summary of what the chapter is doing in Brazil, hosted by the University of São Paulo, and with our main event, SciBiz, in place, and what the initiatives that I selected here to highlight to you in the importance of the government supporting the entire ecosystem. We have a lot to move forward in all these initiatives, but of course, I think that we have been doing a lot as well. So thank you for allowing me to share a bit with you, and there's much more to discuss.
Thank you very much, Dr. Figlioli. Thank you. That's quite incisive presentation on what you are doing in Brazil with the triple helix model. It's also important that to note that you began the journey even way before the International Association came together, to advance the cause globally. So thank you for all those very pioneering efforts people did out there in Brazil. And then the parks, quite inspiring. You have lots of those parks, but what I find unique is in each of those parks you're partnering with a particular university. I mean, that makes the research efforts quite easy to move straight into business ideas, and of course ultimately to the industry and the economy for you. So thank you. I'm sure if we're in a live audience now, we'll be giving you a resounding applause for such incisive contributions. Oh, by the way, I would hold my breath and see Brazil win the World Cup or not. The likes of France and all are there, but I wish you all the best. I wish you all the best. Thank you very much. Thank you. Okay, so we're moving on now from her presentation on what they're doing in Brazil with the triple helix model. We're coming now to leveraging the global triple helix experience to fast track innovation in Nigeria, perspectives of government, industry, and the university. We'll begin by taking the perspective of the government. Listening to Dr. Figlioli, I'm quite excited for a couple of reasons, and those in the oil and gas industry will understand why. We have an agency of government that is not only towing the path of what is happening in Brazil, but is bringing to fruition quite a number of those things. And I'm excited at this juncture that our next speaker will be walking us through some of those laudable efforts of this star agency of our government here in Nigeria. I'll try to abridge what I have in front of me. Our next speaker was appointed to this position as the Executive Secretary of the Nigerian Content Development and Monitoring Board by our president back in 2016, and was reappointed back in 2020 because of the excellence that he brought to fore in handling the activities there. Now, in his first 4 years as Executive Secretary of this star government agency, he reinvigorated the operations of the Nigerian Content Development and Monitoring Board and developed the Nigerian Content 10-year roadmap to grow Nigerian content to 70% by 2027. He brought his project management skills into construction of the board's new headquarters that houses a 17-story office space and a 1,000-seater auditorium and a multi-level car park. He's also pioneered other projects, such as the development of the service level agreement between the board and the Nigerian LNG Limited, which is the biggest LNG company out of Africa, of course. The Oil Producers Trade Section, a coming together of international oil and gas companies and indigenous ones in Nigeria as well as those of the Indigenous Petroleum Producers Group. We call them the IPPG out here in Nigeria. In that time, they led integration of one of the largest floating production, storage, and offloading FPSO in country at the Samsung Heavy Industries MCI yard in the Lador Free Trade Zone, and facilitated in-country integration of 6 models of the Egina FPSO, the first in the entire Gulf of Guinea, and aided and signed the $12 billion LNG Train 7 project contract in the middle of the COVID pandemic to create 12,000 jobs and domicile 55% of the project in country. Of course, amongst these and many other key events, many others, he introduced key events such as the biannual Nigerian Oil and Gas Opportunity Fair, one of the things that I was referring to earlier, and the Nigerian Research and Development Fair, another of the things that I was referring to. Now, I could go on and on. He's also leading the agency in providing the kind of enabling environment in the oil and gas industry to, create the kind of value that we've listened to our last speaker. But I will take a pause from that and welcome one of a multiple award. In fact, recently, our president recognized him with an Excellence in Public Service Award. When the president of a country singles you out to appreciate you like that, it speaks volume of the work you are doing for the nation. And we're delighted to have him address us at this august event as we launch Triple Helix Nigeria. I will yield the stage now to Engineer Simbi Kesie Wabote, a fellow of the Nigerian Society of Engineers and executive secretary of the Nigerian Content Development and Monitoring Board. My ESA, the virtual stage is yours.
Thank you, Richmond, for that introduction. Let me welcome everybody. I've listened with very keen interest on the successes recorded so far with regards to the Triple Helix. This is my first time of being part of this, and I read with keen interest the 2 speakers that have just finished speaking. So I welcome you all, and let me just sit on the already established protocol this morning. I am delighted to address you all at this inauguration ceremony of the Triple Helix Association, the Nigerian chapter. My address will be centered around the global experience in operationalizing of Triple Helix philosophy and the implication for us in Nigeria. The topic is very apt that we are discussing today, as it does align directly with the essence of the local content philosophy, superintended by the Nigerian Content Development and Monitoring Board, of which I lead back here in Nigeria. Let me put this into some context. During the formative years of the board, we benchmarked the Brazilian model of local content implementation in order to dimension our outlook for Nigeria, to highlight our recognition of the strides of Petrobras, CNPES, and ANP in Brazil's local content journey. The board visited Brazil in 2011 and also in 2019 to share knowledge, validate some of our processes, and explore new approaches to local content development. Hearing the success story of Triple Helix implementation in Brazil from Dr. Aline Figlioli, it is once more reassuring that there is a direct nexus between local content development and the promotion of Triple Helix in Nigeria. The Nigerian Content Development and Monitoring Board was created by the Nigerian Oil and Gas Industry Content Act of 2010 to supervise, coordinate, administer, monitor, and manage the development of Nigerian content in the oil and gas industry. Value-adding activities in the hydrocarbon industry are dimensioned along 4 broad areas, mainly manpower, equipment, consumables, and infrastructure. The NOGIC Act has made specific provisions that products, services, and skills of Nigerian origin shall be given first consideration in any project executed in the Nigerian oil and gas industry. By that implication, NCDMB is mandated to ensure that qualified Nigerian capacities and capabilities are prioritized, and capacity of Nigerians are developed through targeted human capacity development initiatives to take advantage of the first consideration provision of the law, to challenge, to bridge local supply gaps, present enormous opportunity for Nigerian academia and innovators. To achieve this closure, a viral domestic production environment is required, and it is universally accepted that this is the only possible with a strong collaboration between academia, industry, and government. In the light of the recognition that triple helix philosophy is the backbone of innovation and industrialization of many nations, NCDMB launched a program that we call Adopt a Faculty Initiative in 2017, with focus on developing STEM faculties to meet the manpower and technological need of the Nigerian oil and gas industry. The Adopt a Faculty program seeks to link academia, government, and industry through deliberate interventions in the areas of infrastructure development and equipment donation, learning and knowledge exchange, alignment of curriculum to industry need, and research and development. Therefore, the overarching objective of the adopted faculty include maintain a healthy pipeline of future STEM talents with high employability index, create the right mix of capacity and capability for executing industry-relevant research within academic institutions in Nigeria. 3, to enhance the capability of Nigerian researchers to attract and deliver solution-based research. And 4, create a funding mechanism for research and development in tertiary institutions. Through its collaborative approach to local content implementation, most project promoters in the industry have also embraced the Adopt a Faculty, and together we have provided support to the academia in key areas such as learning and knowledge exchange, sponsorship of lecturers on use of modern software such as seismic data interpretation, SEPAL reservoir management software, development of e-learning platforms to aid virtual learning, annual sabbatical program for lecturers, and annual graduate research internship programs. Infrastructure development and equipment donation, construction of buildings, donation of modern laboratory equipment in universities, sponsorship of market-relevant research projects related to enhance oil recovery, produce water management, and 3D printing technology. Sponsorship of curriculum review in STEM faculties. Another initiative that further highlights the board's vision for tertiary institution is the establishment of the research centers of excellence. Our footprints in this regard include direct intervention in Federal Universities of Technology, Owerri, University Bielsa, and the establishment of Technology Innovation and Incubation Center in our headquarters in Yenagoa. Our partners in the industry have also been actively providing institutional support towards the establishment of research centers of excellence across the country. Similar to what obtained in Brazil, the strategic intent of embracing research and development as a core pillar in local content development is aligned to the core principle of a triple helix. My expectation, therefore, from the Triple Helix Nigeria chapter is that they will play complementary roles in driving our national aspirations, including attracting and retaining world-class academic investigators, creating solution centers in universities to address industry needs and challenges, attracting acceleration programs to foster creation of startups, facilitating speedy commercialization of proven technologies through structured networking between Nigerian researchers and the global research community, facilitating access to global knowledge repository by Nigerian researchers, promoting regional collaboration between Nigerian institutions of learning and their peers in Africa on joint development and execution of research projects, advocacy on evolution of entrepreneurial universities in Nigeria. To conclude, I therefore wish to place on ground our immense appreciation to the President of the Triple Helix Association, Professor Joseph Pike, for believing in the capacity of Nigeria to add value to the global Triple Helix Association. I therefore, with my colleagues on the board, assure you of NCDMB's commitment to support the activities of the Nigerian chapter, as we are fully aware that the Triple Helix model, local content, and national development are fundamentally interrelated. Distinguished ladies and gentlemen, I thank you for this opportunity, and I look forward to the collaborative effort that we will create within Nigeria. Thank you very much for listening. Thank you.
Thank you very much, my ES. Thank you very much, Engineer Simbike Sewabote, FNSE and Executive Secretary of the Nigerian Content Development and Monitoring Board. If you ask me, I would say he's laid some charge, or if you like, a brief blueprint of what the Triple Helix Nigeria chapter should be focusing on, and that gives them more of a guidance on where to take off from, the areas of strength to work on, and of course reminding us that the local content initiative in Nigeria had taken a learning from what has happened in Brazil. We're also aware that the kind of technology parks that Brazil has today, the NCDMB, is also working hard at delivering some of such parks across strategic zones in Nigeria, especially for the oil and gas industry. A fantastic start. And some of the partnership they have with the academia as well in driving the whole, business of research and development, innovation and commercialization of ideas. So thank you. Thank you very much. We appreciate your time and your insights with us this morning. So we move on now to an industry perspective on the lessons to be learned from the operationalization in Brazil. We've taken that of government, we'll look at the industry, and then we'll move on to the academia. Of course, from the industry, we're going to a company that is arguably one of the foremost companies when it comes to research, development, and innovation in the oil and gas industry. They are also creating value in their partnership with the academia. It is their vision and their goal to see companies as successful as they are in the next 5-10 years. Many of such companies scattered across different sectors of economy in Nigeria. That is one of the driving force of this particular company. Little wonder one of their executives is working with the chair of the Nigeria chapter in driving what we are inaugurating today as the Triple Helix Nigeria chapter. I speak of Cypher Crescent Limited. It's an innovative company creating value for the oil and gas industry using a whole lot of technological innovation and ideas. The chairman will be talking to us. The chairman is an oil and gas industry veteran of over 3 decades. He's a renowned petroleum engineer, if you like, an eminent oilman. He was one time the African Regional Director of the Society of Petroleum Engineers International, was also one time the Nigerian Council Chairman of the Society of Petroleum Engineers Nigeria chapter. He will talk to us briefly, but this time he's also a founder of many companies and the chairman on the board of many other companies. But this morning he's talking to us as the chairman of the board of directors of the innovative Cypher Crescent Limited. Engineer Alec Musa, good morning, sir. Good to see you. Confirm you can hear me, for the stage is now yours.
Yeah, thank you very much. I hope you can hear me.
Loud and clear, sir.
Yes. I'm very excited actually about the event taking place today, the inauguration of the Triple Helix Nigeria chapter. And I would like to thank the international board and the African board for this great initiative. On our side, from the point of view of Cypher Crescent, we have been looking forward to this opportunity for a long time because we've been involved in optimizing the way we work in the oil and gas industry for a while. And this has been driven largely by the recognition for a long time that data and knowledge is what is required to optimize or the way we work in the oil and gas industry. First of all, we recognize the fact that the zero carbon policies have been adopted almost everywhere in the world, but that actually for us creates additional opportunities or challenges for gas industry efficient. The first instance is a difficult assignment. But also now making sure that we monitor and reduce emissions and in fact eliminate them while we continue to exploit the resources becomes another opportunity and a challenge for us. And in all this, Cypher Crescent has already recognized that is that the knowledge of the people and then the data. So data management, nowadays people call it artificial intelligence or machine learning, has always been recognized by Cypher Crescent as the key to optimizing oil and gas operations in Nigeria and the world at large. What we mean by that is that we recognized a long time ago that more than 50% of the time spent on projects, conception, studies, has been spent on verifying data. The kind of data we have, the kind of collaboration between the users of data in different disciplines in the oil and gas industry, data that is not shared properly, data that is not validated properly. So we've been working a lot to make sure that we bridge the gap and bring people to work together. That's collaboration. Now, what has been missing has been the inclusion of the academia in this whole business. Because by the nature of the joint ventures, the government has had a direct role in the oil and gas activities, but the academia has been somehow left behind. So first of all, I'd like to thank the NCDMB for the efforts they have made in the last few years to integrate the academia. We on our part, Cypher Crescent, have not hesitated to give our software and organize lectures and training programs in the universities. In particular, we have the Institute of Petroleum Studies at the University of Port Harcourt that we work very closely with. And then we've been involved with the Society of Petroleum Engineers, the Nigerian Association of Petroleum Engineers at the industrial level to disseminate all the tools we develop so that people get to know about the need to work together on data management, data usage, what today is actually becoming artificial intelligence and machine learning. But in our business, it's not just artificial intelligence, it's a big word, but you need to know what you're doing. It challenges the traditional way of petroleum engineering, and we take that challenge fully. So we need the competence at adapting petroleum engineering solutions to the new methods imposed by artificial intelligence and machine learning. Now, in all this, what is most important for us is that we recognize that if we do not have the local competence in place in Nigeria, we will not get anywhere because it's obvious to everybody. It's not because of COVID that we have had situations where mobility, you don't have access to certain places or certain things. And also, two factors determine today whether you can operate in the oil and gas business. First of all, your commitment to reduce emissions. I've already spoken about that. The second one is acceptance by the local population. And in Cypher Crescent, we make sure we are 100% local content compliant. Not only are we Nigerians, but we try to derive our people and our resources around the region of the Niger Delta. Because competence, we believe that it's a matter of developing the skills. And so we are very, very focused on identifying talent, local talent in Niger Delta, developing such talents, working in collaboration with institutions around the Niger Delta. At the same time, sharpening the skills in engineering. What is the new challenge of engineering imposed by acquiring artificial intelligence competency and machine learning? These are all the areas where we believe that we can move very fast in collaboration with the industry, the government, and the academia. And that's what we stand for in Cypher Crescent. So I'm excited about today, and I hope that it's just opening up a brand new page in the development of collaboration between the universities, the government, and the industry, so that we make the oil and gas, especially in Nigeria, to be moving towards the goals of net zero carbon. For us, that means carbon capture and sequestration and all that involves in the technology assigned to that. And at the same time, making sure that we are acceptable to the communities by making sure that they believe that they are part owners. We make sure we work together with them, our resources, our staff, the skills. We be focused, first of all, around the areas where oil and gas is produced, and at the same time make sure that the sense of ownership and belonging is developed, and we want to be partners in that. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Engineer Alec Musa, walking us through what they do at Cypher Crescent, and of course, how to remain willing partners in ensuring that the whole model of triple helix is not only achieved, but is designed as fit for purpose in solving problems, not just in the oil and gas, but across the entire spectrum of our economic life. So thank you very much, sir. We're moving over now to the Nigerian Universities Commission. The Executive Secretary of the Nigeria Universities Commission, Professor Abubakar Adamu Rashid, is unable to join us this morning, but he has told us not to worry, that he has sent in a reputable and respected thought leader in the commission, the Director of Academic Planning. So if we're going to make any headway with our partnership between the industry, the academia, and government, definitely the man in charge of academic planning will play a key role in helping the Nigeria chapter achieve that seamless partnership of this triangle. I'd like to now call on Dr. N.B. Saliu. Dr. N.B. Saliu, please confirm you can hear me. And if you can, the stage is now yours.
Thank you very much, Richmond. I want to first of all appreciate all your excellencies that are present in the house this morning, and to pay your indulgence to stand on the ready and start the protocol. I also want to bring you very warm greetings and felicitations from the Executive Secretary, National Universities Commission, Professor Abubakar Adamu Rashid. And the NUC is indeed very happy to be part of the inauguration of the Triple Helix Association Nigeria chapter today, because we have always been interested in forging a strong relationship between the academia and the industry in Nigeria. That is why the theme for this meeting, leveraging the Triple Helix model to accelerate commercialization of research and development in Nigeria, is very important to us. The NUC, for instance, has been important. As far back as 2003, the Commission actually organized the Nigerian Universities Research and Innovation Fair to actually showcase the research effort of universities so that we can have industry buy-in into the research efforts and towards commercialization of research in Nigeria. And this lends credence to the fact that these efforts we are having today is one of the things that we are really impressed with and we are happy with. The Commission's quest for strong relationship between amongst the government, industry, and academia was taken further in 2018 when we signed a memorandum of understanding with the Nigerian Economic Summit Group at the 24th Nigerian Economic Summit. And since that agreement on the memorandum of understanding, we have held a retreat with the Nigerian Economic Summit Group and vice chancellors as well as captains of industry in Nigeria. And we have been able to come to the realization that we have been working in silos and we need to join efforts to make our efforts more effective in the country. And at the retreat, what we also agreed was that we need to begin to change the narrative with respect to how we do certain things so that we can make the triple helix workable in Nigeria. And one of the things we agreed on at the meeting ensure that we make our students' industrial work experience scheme sideways more effective and more efficient in the Nigerian university system and the country at large. We also believe that we can begin to introduce the concept of the teacher industrial work experience scheme, so that we have periods when the academia will spend time in the industry to know what the requirements of the industry are with respect to those being trained for it, so that they can actually intentionally train graduates to meet up the needs of the industry. We feel, in addition to this, that we need to begin to engage the private sector and the industry in most of the activities of the academia. And that was why in our recent curriculum review efforts, which I'm happy to announce that we'll be launching the new curriculum on Monday, this coming Monday at the NUC to commemorate NUC at 60. We deployed a multi-stakeholder approach to actually doing the curriculum review and development in the system. And we had members of the academia as part of the resource persons, the members of the academies, the professional bodies, and the private sector participate effectively in the review of the curriculum for Nigerian universities. Having made these efforts on the triple helix in Nigeria, NUC is delighted to be part of the inauguration of the Triple Helix Association of Nigeria, the Nigeria chapter. We also believe that the current efforts in the inauguration of the Triple Helix Association and the resultant effect it will have eventually could be synergized with the efforts we've been having on ground all this while, so we'll have a more robust Triple Helix model in Nigeria. The synergy, we believe, is in the follows the spirit of the Triple Helix phenomenon, and the NUC is committed to making this a success in the country. And so, on behalf of the Executive Secretary, National Universities Commission, Professor Abubakar Adamyashi, I want to say thank you for being part of this meeting. Thank you for your attention.
All right, thank you very much. Thank you, Dr. Saliu. Thank you for giving us a bit of that history of the efforts of the NUC concerning Triple Helix. And I'm also elated at the fact that the NUC have always wanted some kind of galvanizing force or body that would come and break down all the necessary silos that are still standing between the industry, academia, and government, which is where the Triple Helix Association Nigeria chapter, being inaugurated today, comes in handy. And we're delighted to be partnering with the NUC in driving this forward. So thank you. We're moving on now from that presentation to another presentation, and this time we will be zeroing in on is a keynote, another keynote, and we're zeroing in on the significance of Triple Helix Nigeria in the global community of chapters. At this juncture, it is important that I remind our attendees that if you would like to interact with any of our speakers, there is a Q&A icon on the bottom of your screen, or should I say on the bottom of the Teams display screen for this meeting. You'll find it there. If you click on that icon, it gives you it enables you to ask questions to any of our speakers. Of great importance is our next speaker. Our next speaker would want her session to be quite an interactive session. We would encourage you that as she is speaking, if you have any question you would like to ask her, or any intervention you would like to make while she's speaking, or any intervention that concerns the triple helix model has been discussed since we started, you can leave it in the Q&A box. Now, if you go to the chat box and leave it there, there would be a lot of information in the chat box that it might just be someone extending felicitations to another attendee in the chat box. It could be those of us who are panelists having a conversation around an issue. And if you leave it there, we just might miss it in the long thread of conversations that would go on in the chat box. However, in the Q&A chat box, it is strictly dedicated for the purpose of you making interventions or asking questions. So please do well to go there and leave your question. She would love to have a bit of an interaction around our conversation as we proceed. And as I said, feel free to also leave questions for other of our speakers. At some point before we wind down this whole presentations, we'll see if we'll have a moment or two to have them answer one or two questions that you would leave there if we would have the time for that. We'll keep in mind that it's still a work day and people need to go back to work. Now, that said, I'd like to now move on to my next speaker, who will be talking to us about the Nigeria chapter in the Committee of Global Chapters. She's an entrepreneur and motivational speaker, founder and chief executive officer of Tataj Innovation. She's the world's expert on innovation networks. Tataj Innovation empowers entrepreneurs through network thinking, a methodology based on 15 plus years of hard research done in collaboration with Professor Manuel Castells. Professor Castells endorsed her book, Innovation and Entrepreneurship, as a fundamental book that would reshape the way we think about innovation. He now acts as an advisor on Tataj Innovation. Her research impacted Europe's innovation ecosystem. She's one of the architects of the EIT, European Institute of Innovation and Technology, and EIC, European Innovation Council, two key funding institutions for entrepreneurship and disruptive innovation in Europe, as well as a mission-oriented policy approach. She held senior roles as a chair of advisors to EU Commissioner for Research and WEF's digital leader in 2017. She founded Vital Voices chapter in Poland and is currently an advisory board member of two tanks, Reimagine Europa in Paris and Digital Future Society in Barcelona. She's an inspirational keynote speaker with a mission of making Europe more entrepreneurial. She publishes frequently to foster her values, equal access to opportunities, empowerment, and collaboration. She regularly publishes on LinkedIn and has over 22 plus global audience. But of importance and great importance this morning to us is that she is the Vice President of Triple Helix Association. And I welcome Professor Daria Golubiovaska-Tataj. Prof, please tell me I got your name correctly. And if I didn't, please teach me how to pronounce correctly.
Can you hear me first?
Loud and clear.
Can I ask you if you can hear me? You can hear. Fantastic.
Yes.
You got my name very, very correct. I have a very difficult Polish name, and I'm commonly known as Daria Tataj, which is a short way to address me. But foremost, I want to thank you very much for launching the chapter, for developing your entrepreneurial, innovative powers around building one more footprint of our global association in Nigeria. And let me start sharing. I have prepared a very short presentation for you. And let's see if technology allows us that it works. And then I was hoping to have a Q&A session. So I'm trying to share my presentation.
Please go ahead.
Right.
Please go ahead.
The system
Let
is
me know if you have
asking
any.
if I want to share.
You have access to share. Please go ahead.
Yeah. While I'm trying to share, let me say that, well, it does not work, the sharing.
Ita, can you please see if you can help her share from your end if you have it, or if you see if she has access?
Okay, yes, I have it. The system allowed me to share.
Fantastic.
Can you see my screen?
Once it comes up, I'll let you know. I'm waiting for it to come up.
So let me say that the attention to Nigeria was drawn quite many years ago, around a decade ago, by a very prominent landmark entrepreneur in Poland, late Jan Kulczyk, who was one of the key investors from Poland, from Polish investors in Nigeria. And at the time, I must say that my knowledge was very limited, and I was impressed to discover the potential of your country. First of all, the human potential, the talent, the people, and then the natural resources and the economic growth. I'm coming from Poland, which is a remarkable transformation story over the last generation, 30 years. We started as a very poor post-communist nation. And today we have one of the top 10 education systems in the world, which I believe is the real reason for our success, that is continuous economic, sustainable growth over the 3 decades. I am personally also splitting my time between being in Warsaw, where I am today, and Barcelona and Spain, where is a office of my company. We probably work with the Spanish government, helping develop and enroll the strategy Spain Entrepreneurial Nation. And I'm also an honorary professor at the Massoud Entrepreneurship Center in the University of Manchester. And I believe that this is also relevant for Nigeria, being part of the Commonwealth, and now rethinking what this yet more network means for Nigeria. But today I'd like to talk about the Triple Helix Association in Nigeria in the context of our global community. My colleague, Professor Joseph Piquet, explained that we have 6 regions from the perspective of the association, and absolutely Africa is one of the core regions for us to develop, and we would like to support you as much as we can. So if during my speech you can put in the questions and maybe you wish list and draw attentions to your needs, this will be a good way for us to interact. But number one, I wanted to propose that really the key element for you as an association is to understand of who you are as being part of a global network at this moment of Nigeria development model. I think we live in extremely turbulent times, and from the perspective I have, probably we have not, no one really expected the kind of development, disruptive development models that will be coming triggered by actually very negative global events such as pandemics or the current geopolitical crisis with the war in Ukraine. However, every crisis as it comes is an opportunity for us to develop a new model, to innovate. It pushes us out of the complacency model into action. And I would like the founders of the Nigeria chapter to really give it a little bit of thought. What is Nigeria role? What is the chapter of? What is the? Who are you as a trigger? Connecting Nigeria locally, integrating the local ecosystem, and then connecting it globally to the other developing dynamic ecosystems. The second question I would like to ask is, what is really the purpose and how do you create a community around your purpose? I understand that the purpose is really not to develop a chapter for the sake of the chapter, but really to trigger, accelerate, maybe reposition the growth where Nigeria is going as a society and as an economy. And the last thing I want to ask you to reflect after this initial launch, when you have a number of meetings, is how do you benefit and avoid risk from being globally networked? One of the biggest challenges in my country as an emerging market, and I believe that in your country as well, is a brain drain. And if we connect people globally, we connect them to global growth opportunities, which is a very good thing to do. But from a macro perspective, from an ecosystem perspective, we risk that this high potential talent will flow out of our country. So how you as a chapter make sure that these people get connected, but at the same time that they have local opportunities for growth to keep them in the country. And if it happens that for some time they go and join international diaspora of Nigerians around the world, how do you make sure that they still care to contribute to the growth model based in your country? The way we're thinking about a value proposition of every chapter is, as we are coming from a research background, from a research research community, we think that the key stakeholders are early career researchers, then senior career researchers, and then universities and research centers as really institutions that are creating knowledge. I was fascinated to listen to the keynote by Mr. Alec Musa from the industrial perspective. And I believe that he would agree with me that the key bottleneck for further development of his company and other companies in Nigeria is really whether we have the flow of talent between academia and business, and whether this flow of talent allows to develop meaningful opportunities together. This mobility is one of the key elements that I believe that the Triple Helix chapter in Nigeria will be really creating, incentivizing people from industry to go and teach in universities, go and search research collaborations with academics and early career researchers foremost, but also encourage academics to step out of their comfort zone and take a risk of going out to this, what is, beyond the ivory tower of academia, which is not such a safe, comfortable environment and requires very different mindset and a very different skill set. Now, when I think about Nigeria and your chapter, I would like to strongly resonate with what I heard in Mr. Musa's speech, the word sustainable growth, sustainable development. I believe that the crisis, from the pandemics to the current energy crisis, geopolitical crisis, this all offers us an opportunity not to repeat the old mistakes, try to develop for the benefit of the local communities and the global sustainable model in a different way. And I believe that this focus on sustainable development goals will be very strongly a North Star in your Triple Helix Association chapter in Nigeria, reminding that we should not move or repeat the old models. We should dare to explore better, more sustainable models. We know that the COP meeting have not brought the results as we hoped for, and I believe that we should not give up. And such organizations as the Triple Helix Association are really the think tanks, the do tanks, the research brain power, where we can try to stick to the agenda that we have a mission to design a better world for the next generation. Now, the real question is that you have universities, research centers, industry, and when I traveled around the world to work on my book, Innovation, Entrepreneurship, a Growth Model of Europe Beyond the Crisis, some years ago, I was in China, in the US, in most European Union countries, I realized that actually to trigger this growth, you need to have two things, which I describe in my book. Number one, you need to have entrepreneurial component. And by entrepreneurship, I do not mean only startup companies, although startup companies are very important. You need to have the ability to network these silos who happen to work with not that comfortably together. So my whole work has been dedicated over the last years to understand what is this magic vibe in certain ecosystems in the world that, having very limited knowledge, very limited funding, and very limited human talent resources, how does it happen that you still can create this amazing growth, as in Manchester, as in Barcelona, as in other cities in the country, countries, like in many places in Nigeria, not only the capital or the key cities, but also the second-tier cities. How do you integrate this all locally? And the concept that I've been working on, and I hope that we will have a chance to talk about, is that what distinguishes these ecosystems is certain type of intelligence that I call network intelligence, and it has become very prominent in the new type of work, in this very much more hybrid or fully digital work, where people actually experience decrease in productivity when it comes to developing collaborative tasks, and decrease or further silo work, since there is not this natural opportunity to meet together and work together. And I believe that developing new type of management thinking for the future of work, for the innovation, for entrepreneurship, with the focus on this sense of a shared purpose and building the strong ties locally, the trusted connections, and then weak ties globally is the key, the right way forward. And as we plan to launch the work stream on network intelligence within the Triple Helix Association, it's really all about digital skills for the future, how to make companies more productive, more mission purpose oriented, and more innovative, and how to create this mobility of talent between academia and government. I hope you will be joining this work stream. Very briefly, the case study I wanted to inspire you is that this can be done. And one of the notable case studies, policy case studies where I've been involved, was setting up an experiment at a scale of a continent, including all European Union countries, which is a European Institute of Innovation and Technology. It's over the last decade, over 100,000 people went through entrepreneurship training in Europe. It was a seedbed to 9 unicorns. And what is most important, there are hundreds of universities connected to this system. So I believe that the chapter in Nigeria will be able to handpick this kind of policy initiatives, and bring them to Nigeria, advocate that in different parts of the world there are different experiments happening, learning is there, and Nigeria can benefit. Another example I wanted to bring from the very different perspective, a regional development policy in Europe, is that what was known in Europe as smart specialization strategy is having a new chapter with the Partnerships for Regional Innovation that is really enabling those mega cities, those industrial regions to create vibrant innovation ecosystems. And network intelligence is one of the reference framework for it, but there are many, many others. It all comes down to how people are able to work locally together and connect globally to opportunities, to global flow of knowledge and global flow of talent. The final reference I want to give is that when you look at those ecosystems, the silos ecosystems, there is one weak link, if you wish. It's the incapability of universities to connect to what is so-called the third mission. So beyond the mission, which is absolutely remains to be important, producing knowledge, advancing knowledge, and then disseminating knowledge through teaching, more and more universities should embrace this post-COVID, post-pandemic role, that they are agents of change, agents of transformation in their local ecosystems. And this requires a very different way of thinking beyond entrepreneurial universities, while entrepreneurial universities is still a very, very valid point. So I do hope to see you all in Barcelona in about 6 months, in June. I'm stopping to share my presentation, and I'm happy to take 1 or 2 questions if there are any.
Thank you so much, Dr. Daria Tash. Thank you so much for giving us that brief on what the Triple Helix Nigeria chapter should be doing, what we can do to avoid the errors, if there was any, from countries like yours and regions like yours. So thank you for that insight. I'm certain that the Nigerian chapter executives would definitely have been making notes while you were speaking and ready to run with. I'm trying to see if there's any question for you. I don't think anyone came in.
But I'm thinking that we can definitely continue the conversation. This is not our last interaction. This is our first interaction, actually. It was a pleasure to meet some of you in Florence at our annual conference. I do hope to see you in person in Barcelona on the upcoming conference. And we can definitely connect either via LinkedIn or via email. And we're super committed and dedicated to help you grow your chapter. As I mentioned, brilliant. I will be excusing myself as my agenda was blocked until now, and unfortunately I cannot stay with you anymore. But just that you know that I truly support you.
Fantastic. Thank you so much. Thank you. And we'll look forward to meeting you as well in Barcelona. And thank you for the insight one more time. Okay, so onwards from her now, we'll move on to the, before we take the inauguration, I hear that the THA member from South Africa, he would like to make a few comments by way of goodwill, as he has some other things to attend to. So Michael Khan, if you're on the call, can you unmute yourself and take your 2-3 minutes before we proceed to the inauguration of the Nigerian chapter?
Thank you much to colleagues in Nigeria and to meet you, Professor Daria. It really is an honor to join the conversation. I'm speaking to you on the margins of an African Union NEPAD event in Cape Town that brings together all the countries of Africa around the common theme of developing SDI policy and indicators for development. So we are deeply involved and we have Nigeria present. Having said that, I really do salute you for the huge effort you've made to harness industry into this very important venture. And it really gives us in South Africa, who are somewhat behind the curve, a stimulus to bring in industry. Having said that, we have a long industrial history in this country, going back to the mining days 150 years ago. And in the course of this long venture with various disruptions, we've reached a point now where our universities are somewhat disarticulated from industry, and industry itself has expanded internationally, and we have experienced what people lightly call deindustrialization. And in many ways, we're at a tipping point politically in terms of stability and indeed social cohesion. So the Triple Helix could not be coming at a better time for us. We have, in many ways, moved into Quadruple Helix in that our universities have a very strong social mission, particularly in dealing with research to deal with our burden of disease. And that's actually commendable, but it does not adequately deal with the gap between industry and higher education that has opened up. And the example of Nigeria stimulates us and suggests very strongly to us where we need to move forward to. So on behalf of our fledgling TH, of course it's a TH that has previously hosted TH conferencing, we wish you all the best and thank you for giving me a little bit of airtime. All the best.
Thank you, Michael. Thank you so much, and enjoy the rest of the conference. Thank you for making the time out to join us from that conference. Continuing, of course, the conversations around what we're here discussing, and I'm glad that you're really looking at it from a continental perspective. We really need to deepen our businesses. We need to deepen our collaborations across the continent to improve a whole lot of things, including our logistics. Thank you so much. Okay, onwards now to the official launch of Triple Helix Association Nigeria chapter. I want to believe that, yes, Professor Joseph Miguel PK is still on the call. Mr. President?
Yes, I am here, yes.
Brilliant, brilliant. Good. So it is that time of the day when there's no other person fit to wear the cap of inaugurating a chapter than the international president himself. So I'll come back to you now to inaugurate the chapter, and once we're done with
very good. I would like to express first my congratulations for this event and also for all the contributions of all the speakers that were really providing the knowledge, the network, and more than that, the commitment for the success of this chapter, remember, as a cornerstone, as a golden reference, as a reference for all Africa, how to develop a chapter. For that, I would like to share my slides, if I may, in order to provide to you, this certificate. Do you see the certificate?
Yes, we do.
Okay, good. In order to provide to you the rights to develop the chapter, in order to promote first the community of the Triple Helix in Nigeria, second, to make contributions to our journal, our different ways of publications, and also to participate in active way to our Triple Helix conference here in Barcelona and other activities around the world. For this situation, I would like to say that the chapter is really ready to start.
Thank you very much, Professor PK. Thank you so much. Well, now that we've done that, I think it will be fitting for us to see the picture of all the executives, the pioneer executives of the Triple Helix Association Nigeria chapter. Ita, can we have that slide that has all of the fantastic? So, distinguished ladies and gentlemen, there you have it. President, Triple Helix Nigeria chapter. He's the General Manager, Research and Statistics at Nigerian Content Development and Monitoring Board, Mr. Abdul Malik Halilu. Congratulations, boss. Congratulations. We also have the Vice President, Training and Research, Director, Center of Information and Telecommunication Engineering at the University of Port Harcourt, Professor Bodilon Omije. So please, if you're on the call, as I recognize you, kindly turn on your video if you are on the call. We also have the Vice President Policy, Director Research at the National Center for Technology Management. Congratulations, Dr. Abiodun Egbetokun. And of course, Vice President Innovation, Chief Technical Officer at Cypher Crescent Limited, Mr. Thank God Egbe. Congratulations and thank you for your service, all four of you. We'll have the Acting Secretary and Manager at Code House. Yes, Lawrence Akubwe. Lawrence, congratulations and thank you all for your service. So gentlemen and ladies on the call, there you have it. The members of the Pioneer Executive Committee of the Triple Helix Association Nigeria chapter. Before I proceed, following this, we're supposed to take a remarks, or should I say presentation, on the operationalization of Triple Helix in Nigeria, a short-term plan by the President of Nigeria chapter. But I'm being told by Mr. Egbe that another of our guests on the call and a strong supporter, if you like, a foundation advisor on all that has been happening behind the scene leading to today, a former Vice Chancellor of the University of Port Harcourt would like to also take a few moments of goodwill before he turns his attention to some other activity that is really calling for his attention. Professor Joseph, before I go on, I understand that Michael Khan is a professor. Professor Khan, my apologies for not recognizing you as appropriately as I should have when I invited you to speak, but I'm corrected that Michael Khan is Professor Michael Khan. Thank you for your humility in indulging me at that time. So let me move on now to the first ever Nigeria chapter president of Triple Helix. And I'd like to call on, yes, Mr. Abdul Malik Halilu. Boss, the stage is yours. If you can please give us the short-term plans of the Nigeria chapter.
Thank you very much
Yes.
for this opportunity. Let me first of all appreciate the national president of the Triple Helix Association, Professor Joseph, for facilitating this very important event that is very dear to our country. So on behalf of the good people of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, my bosses, want to thank you very much for finding Nigeria worthy of being in the global map of the Triple Helix Association, coming almost 26 years after the Triple Helix philosophy was conceived. It gives us joy that at least we are now part of the global Triple Helix Association family. This event is also very important to us at this point because just last year, in 2021, Nigeria signed off the Startup Innovation Act, which was an attempt by governments to create an enabling environment where products of research can actually be accelerated to the market through structured interventions, including access to finance, getting necessary approvals, and providing the enabling environment for products of research to be properly certified and approved for deployment in the industry. So having this association, which is basically a platform that enables strong collaboration and cooperation among institutions of government, the academia, and also the end users of research in the industry, to actually look at the entire landscape as a single ecosystem, gives us joy that we're able to achieve this very important milestone. So my presentation will focus on just giving us some country profile so that we appreciate the resource base of our country, what is our vision, and then what we think are the benefits of the Triple Helix Nigeria chapter. As a country, we are the 7th largest in the world in terms of population, with over 200 million. And we also have rank among the top 10 economies in the world in terms of hydrocarbon resources, which is our major source of export earnings. By virtue of having a gross domestic production of about over 400 million, we're also the #1 in Africa in terms of size of the economy. We're quite a diverse economy country, and we're very proud of that because we reckon that diversity also leads to growth. We're situated in West Africa, and looking at our university system, we have over 174 universities comprising state-owned, very, very rich private sector involvement in university administration, about 79 universities. In the course of submitting our intent to participate and be recognized as Triple Helix, we engaged about 20 universities with the requirements from the Triple Helix Association, and we're able to pull out 342 research proposals that focuses on the areas of interest of Triple Helix, which is energy, ICT, oil and gas, agriculture, health, and education. So even before we launched the local chapter, you can see that we actually have a rich database of research proposals that can give us the kind of mileage that we require to be able to convert research to either new products or improvement in existing processes. We have a very rich resource base in terms of junior researchers, PhD students, and also senior researchers. So this is just a tip of the iceberg in terms of our capacity to actually generate research proposals that meet the standards of being able to be solution-based research. So we're excited that in terms of being able to come up with research proposals, research projects, we don't really have an issue. The major gap in our system is that connection between government, end users of research, and the academia, which this association will seek to close. In terms of our inspiration, we have also seen how some of the projects, Fortune 500 companies today, evolved through the efforts of universities, the likes of Google, which were a creation of an effort from Stanford University as far back as 1996, today becoming one of the Fortune 500 companies. The likes of FedEx, which is also incubated at Yale University in the United States, also one of the major multinational organizations. So we're motivated to see that actually when you have a robust system, it is possible for products of research, products of innovation from the universities to evolve as multinationals, as employers of labor, as contributors to tax. So this is one of the motivating factors that was driving our vision to see that we actually participate and ensure that we have the Triple Helix Association. We have also seen that when you are able to develop the private sector, they also provide a source of funding for research. Some of these companies contribute as much as 10% of their revenue to R&D. In fact, the likes of Microsoft contribute about 13% of their revenues to research and development. So there's a nexus. There's between investing in R&D, economic development, business growth, and also being able to expand the frontiers of academic knowledge if we're able to entrench this Triple Helix process in country. So this is what motivated us, and we believe that over the next few years, based on our vision, we should be able to see companies from evolving in Nigeria that are products of university research. So we started this journey, as mentioned earlier. We were motivated to do this, and we started this journey in 2021 in October, where we conceived the idea. We approached the Triple Helix Association. We were given templates and requirements to meet, and we were happy that we were also given the platform to present our vision during the 20th Triple Helix conference held in Italy. And that also led to other discussions, streamlining of activities, putting in the necessary structures. And today we're having the launch of the Triple Helix Association in Nigeria. To give us some level of clarity in terms of the execution strategy, we adopted the entrepreneurship and innovation management model of Triple Helix, which is basically anchored on defining the role of government, academia, and industry, and also having a clear line of sight in terms of what the outputs of research should be, and then creating enabling environments and triggers to ensure that you get the desired outputs. So as Professor Joseph had earlier presented, we are also adopting the 5-stage process for conceptualization to research, which is ideation, research, development, evaluation, and commercialization. And we have also identified the support levers for the input stage, which is basically understanding the problems. Research is supposed to solve a problem. So there has to be a defined process for problem definition. You also have to have sustainable funding for R&D. You must also ensure that your projects are shaped in a manner that it leads to solving the problems that have been identified. You must also create enabling environment in terms of incentives for businesses that wish to invest in research and development. Fortunately, Nigeria has tax laws that actually incentivize research. So part of what the Triple Helix Association will be doing is to create that awareness so that people can take advantage of those incentives. It's also to ensure that we have talented resources that can actually deliver quality research and be able to attract the kind of research funding that is will create the desired impact. There's also the need for us to connect with the business community in terms of understanding the problems, but most importantly, assimilating products of research. So once you're able to create that awareness, that trust, and that assurance that products of research, you have a community, a business community that can easily assimilate those products, it means they will give you opportunity to even test the products when you create minimum viable products, and then also assimilate and deploy when they eventually get the necessary usability confirmation. So that is also part of what we have developed in terms of our ecosystem. Is also to ensure that we're able to create new startups out of research. We are a country that has over 30% unemployment rate. So we believe that through innovation, through research, we'll be able to create small enterprises that are products of research that will absorb the young talents that we have in this country in terms of employment opportunities. So these are very, very ambitious aspirations, and this is how we intend to structure our delivery model. Now, in terms of the vision, as I've mentioned earlier, we're inspired by how research led to the evolution of Fortune 500 companies. And we have also seen how those companies have invested back, committed 10-13% of their revenues on R&D. So we believe that the concept of entrepreneurship university in Nigeria should be our focus and our vision. We're gradually moving away from universities just being centers for education, centers for research, to centers where you actually have entrepreneurship thinking. Today, we have the NOTAP, which is one of our agencies responsible for patents, having offices in universities for patent registration. So that is part of the efforts that Nigeria has made to ensure that we inculcate the culture of research for development within the universities. So we set a very ambitious program for ourselves, 10 universities to own at least 10% equity in at least 10 listed companies over the next 10 years. And this is possible, as we have seen in cases like countries that have also done similar interventions in their own universities. So it's important for us to note that the likes of University of Texas, where they have over 1,000 founders, and today they have investments in over 6 companies, putting in as much as $15 million. So these are case studies of how this has happened in other locations, and we believe that with the right support from the Triple Helix Global, we should be able to achieve this vision. It's also our mission to accelerate the democratization and commercialization of innovation. So the key word is commercialization, converting research to economic value. So we have a roadmap that clearly defines how we want to start and what we will be doing in the next 2 years, which is our medium-term period. It's basically for us to drive membership now that we have been inaugurated. We'll set our agenda properly. So our association is not to compete with any government institution. Our institution is to serve as a catalyst, as an awareness platform, as an advocacy platform, and to synergize all the efforts that other sister government agencies are doing. A lot of investments are going into research. We have the likes of TED Fund, the PTDF, everybody is doing research. So what we're trying to do is to galvanize all these efforts, create repository where these researches will be domiciled, and create a platform where they will have access to global repository through the Triple Helix Association. That way, we believe that we can deepen the interest in research, but also ensure that products of research in Nigeria have areas where they can be tested, not just in Nigeria, but across the globe. And then also participate in global forums where we'll be able to bring our researchers to present the outcome of their research, to qualify for the publication in the TH journal, but also to be able to attract global funding so that they can begin to have seed funding for the purpose of commercialization of their research. So we have set KPIs for ourselves, which is include number of publications, startup companies coming out of research, global patent registration, membership drive, and of course, collaboration and coordination. These are some of the KPIs that we have set for ourselves. We've done our stakeholder mapping, defining those that will add value in terms of from the government side. These are institutions of government that actually have a role to play in the research and development value chain. The NUC, NCDMB, PTDF, NOTAP, TED Fund, even the Bank of Industry that is providing funding, NIDA, and so many other government agencies. We've also looked at the private sector, which are very key. We've identified some of them that will play leading roles. And then, of course, the academia. These are some of the institutions that we are currently working with in terms of getting their research projects, but then also expand this over time. So stakeholder mapping is very important so that we can identify those that will actually contribute and add value to what we're trying to do. We've put a structure in place so that at least we have a proper coordination procedure and operating model to drive our activities now that we have been launched. Of course, we're going to connect with the global body, but also the regional body. As Mr. Chooks has rightly pointed out earlier, we have a board of trustees, of chief executives that will provide guidance to us, and then the executive committee, which is what has been inaugurated, and then, of course, other members. We will be thematic focused so that we'll have concentration in terms of how we want to drive the implementation of our roadmap. So it's going to be thematic focused so that we have subject matter experts looking at different areas. And of course, it's going to be comprising government, industry, academia. I come from the government side. And so we have a structure that will enable us to drive our vision. Now, just to put it in proper context, the NCDMB, the organization that I work for, and you've heard my executive secretary speak earlier, we already have a model that speaks exactly to the Triple Helix model, where we're promoting 5 research centers of excellence as government. And what we're providing is equipment, the governance structure, the funding, alliances, and then the sustainability plan. But beyond that, the research, the institutions, the universities are the ones carrying out the research. So they've been dimensioned to be thematic focused so that they will be subject matter experts in specific areas of research. For example, the Federal University of Technology will be focused on technology development studies, and even at technology development studies, they're not going to do everything. It's going to be high resolution subsurface imaging, decarbonization technology, which is a very important element in the discussion today around net zero carbon emission. So we have taken care of that in terms of our research support. So these institutions will be thematic focused. They'll focus on this. But then beyond that, there's also a requirement in our law that says that every operator in the industry must submit a research and development plan with the intention of carrying out research in Nigeria. So from that compliance perspective, there's predictability in terms of the inflow of research proposals into these universities. So that way, the operators will bring the research and issue solution-based research projects to these universities, while NCDMB as a regulator is also providing the support levers to the university. That is already Triple Helix in action. So we've tested this, it's already working, and I believe that as we move into our implementation mode, we'll see more of this across various parts of the country and also across different thematic areas. Just to illustrate how this has also worked for us, my executive secretary did mention that we have established the Technology, Innovation and Incubation Center. What that center does is it has created an innovation bank where Nigerians, young Nigerians, are challenged to come up with solutions within the country. We are a country with 206 trillion standard cubic of gas, among the top 10 in terms of, but our per capita gas consumption is very low. So there's an effort by government to increase gas utilization. part of the major constraints there is that people see gas as a risky product. So this young man came to us that, oh, I have a solution that enables you to get an alert if there's a gas leakage in your kitchen. Conventional smoke detectors will just show you that it will just be beeping. But in this case, it's going to send an SMS, and then when you don't respond, it's going to trigger a call. So that's the innovative aspect that has been introduced. We supported this with the proof of concept, guided the process, funded the prototype development, facilitated patent registration through our network with NOTAP, funded the field trial for these young men, also supported the business case development, and got an independent financial advisor to look at the numbers. The numbers came back very impressive, and to demonstrate our commitment to support innovation, we invested in equity in these projects. This project will be launched in December, and at peak, it has the potential of creating over 400 jobs. It's a $22 million per annum business, and there are also spin-off benefits in terms of gas penetration. Now, 2 or 3 young men coming up with idea that leads to a shop floor that has the capacity of employing 400 Nigerians and other socioeconomic benefits for the country is our idea of how employment should be created. So this is a clear demonstration of how it has worked for NCDMB, and we believe that if we replicate similar interventions across many sectors of the economy, then we'll begin to use innovation as our source of employment, as our source of economic growth and prosperity. Finally, in my presentation, I would like to once again appreciate all those that have contributed for us to have this Triple Helix Association launched. We believe that it's a way of consolidating and integrating the Nigerian research community to the Triple Helix ecosystem. And we believe that there are huge benefits that will accrue to Nigeria in terms of recognition, in terms of visibility of our research outcomes in the global space, creating a global networking platform for our researchers, being able to reach out to financial institutions that can sponsor research and can also sponsor product development. We have heard that there will be a Triple Helix event every year, so it's also part of the efforts that we'll be making to ensure that we create that network. And then also, we believe that the access to the Triple Helix international publications will also give more visibility to our researchers and make them very relevant and attractive to the global community. So these are some of the benefits that we believe THA launch today will bring to our dear country. I want to thank all of you for making this happen, and I look forward to more inclusive and mutually beneficial partnership between THA Nigeria and the global THA. Thank you very much for your attention.
Thank you very much, Mr. President. Thank you for that wonderful speech. When we're looking at how we're going to operationalize the Triple Helix in Nigeria and the short-term plan. So while we wait for the Master of Ceremony to join us, we want to also thank all the participants and to also encourage you to please feel free to continue to type your questions. We have a few of them in the question and answer box, and we'll take them once the Master of Ceremony is able to speak. So on behalf of the team, we thank you very much. All right, we will also be moving on to the next item just before we take the vote of thanks, which is the goodwill messages from a lot of stakeholders that have contributed to the establishment of Triple Helix in Nigeria. We were about to take that of Professor Ajenika just before the president had his speech. So at this time, I would like to invite Professor Ajenika.
thank you very much for the opportunity. I want to congratulate all those who have worked very hard to ensure that we're experiencing the inauguration of the Triple Helix Nigeria today. It's a great day for us in Nigeria, particularly those of us in the academics. What Abdul Malik had presented is so detailed. It shows a lot of commitment, a lot of preparation to bring things about. Now, I know Alec Musa spoke. In 2003, the Institute of Petroleum Studies was established on the model of Triple Helix. And at the conference of the Triple Helix in Greece, I presented a paper on behalf of NUC on how Triple Helix were going to leverage on it to develop higher education in Nigeria. And the Institute of Petroleum Studies, as you are aware, was funded by NNPC Total joint venture. Okay. And the University of Port Harcourt has been in partnership with the IFE school in Paris. So the Institute of Petroleum Studies was established under the auspices of Total to achieve one major objective, and that is what they call crew change and ensure sustainable development of the oil and gas industry. And so we've had some experience since 2003 practicing Triple Helix. And I'm glad today that we now have the Triple Helix Association in Nigeria. And with the quality of presentation by Abdul Malik, I'm so happy that a clear roadmap has been presented. The only comment I would like to make is the executive committee to be inclusive. What I saw, there was no lady there. So I hope the executive committee should ensure that we are very inclusive, we are gender sensitive, and we have a lady on the executive committee. So once again, let me congratulate the executive committee of the Triple Helix Association Nigeria for ensuring that today we are properly registered and we have a certificate of registration to be a chapter of the Triple Helix Association in Nigeria. And I think it will do us a lot of good. I'm indeed glad that NUC is represented by Dr. Saliu, so that all of us working together will achieve the objective of the Triple Helix Association in Nigeria. So thank you very much for the opportunity.
Thank you very much, Professor Ajayinka. Thank you so much. Onwards now to the Director General of the National Information Technology Development Agency, the Engineer Yao Gaba, representing the DG Kachifu Inu Abdullahi. Engineer Gaba, are you on the call?
Yes, sure.
Please go ahead. Let's have your few minutes of goodwill.
Thank you very much. Thank you so much for inviting the DG. DG is always very excited in attending this sort of program, but unfortunately there are some urgent tasks he had to attend to. So he asked me to step in for him. So we really appreciate being part of this and for you remembering us for this great initiative. Of course, I've been around since the beginning and I've had all the conversation, the presentation, and I see perfectly the idea of Triple Helix fit exactly with what NIDA seeks to achieve. Of course, I'm sure you are aware, NIDA is very keen in deepening the digital technology, digital innovation, and entrepreneurship in Nigeria. And for that, NIDA is a major contributor to the National Digital Economy Policy and Strategy of the Federal Ministry of Communications and Digital Economy. So NIDA really is looking forward to be part of this journey. because it fits perfectly with our mandate and what we seek to achieve. And of course, one of our speakers was talking about, in fact, the president, Mr. Halil, was talking about the Nigerian Startup Act, which was recently assented by Mr. President. Of course, right from the onset, NIDA has been contributing toward the journey since it was a Nigerian Startup Bill. And now we've successfully get it, and NIDA is the secretariat. In fact, now work is in earnest to make sure that we have fruitful implementation of the act, so that we can deepen innovation, we can deepen entrepreneurship, give startup the necessary support for them to grow. So, and I see Triple Helix as an association that is planning or really trying to aid the uptake of ideas to commercialization to product for our economy. So this one is in line with what we plan to do. So definitely we'll be looking forward to be part of this journey. You may be aware, I'm the National Director of the National Center for Artificial Intelligence and Robotics, which is one of the initiatives of NIDA to promote research and development on emerging technologies. So in the center, exactly what we do is in line with the Triple Helix. We're into R&D, we do capacity building, we do innovation ventures, taking innovation to commercialization through startups, and of course, collaboration and partnership, which I feel is the window through which we can really partner with Triple Helix Association to, deepen our mandate and even to take the nation forward in these areas. So we'll be very much happy to be part of this journey, and we look forward to interact more with you. And again, I say congratulations to Nigeria for having this opportunity. These are the kind of initiative that will move our nation forward, and we're very much happy to be part of it. So congratulations once again, and I extend the greetings of and goodwill messages from my DG, and we look forward to be part of this journey. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. Thank you, Engineer Gaba. Thank you so much. Finally, on the goodwill, can we take a few minutes from Dr. Abiodun Egbetokun? Dr. Abiodun, are you there?
Yes, I am. Can
Please
you hear
go
me?
ahead. Loud and clear. Please go ahead.
All right, beautiful. Well, allow me to join every previous speaker, particularly the people who have brought goodwill messages, to congratulate the team, and both the global team, the continental team, and the African team for doing an excellent job. It's a beautiful thing that today has actually come to reality, and I think it can only get better from here on. I share Professor Ajenka's sentiments about the need for the leadership of the team, as it were, to become more inclusive. And I think this is one of the conversations that we need to have as we move forward, because as you know, development is not a masculine affair. It is a human affair. And to the extent to which we're all humans, we want to ensure that we carry all genders. And having said that, one of the things that I believe we will be able to achieve going forward is to influence the policy space. The center where I work, the National Center for Technology Management, actually we pride ourselves in being the software component of Nigeria's scientific and technological endeavors. It's an agency of the Federal Ministry of Science, Technology and Innovation, and we provide policy, capacity building and consultancy support to not just the FMSTI alone, but also all the agencies under it and all important actors within the national innovation system. For instance, the current science, technology and innovation policy of Nigeria was first drafted by NASDM in 2012 and then reviewed and revised and reviewed in 2021. So I do think that all the important stakeholders that we have been able to bring together at this starting point are critical to getting started on a very strong foundation. So once again, I want to congratulate all the actors who have played one role or the other in bringing this to a fruition, and I wish that we will have a a strong and a virile, chapter, national chapter moving forward. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Abiodun. Thank you so much. Onwards now to the final vote of thanks from Thank God Egbe. Thank God.
Good afternoon, all. I guess you can hear me, Richmond.
Loud and clear. Loud and clear.
All right, thank you all, and afternoon. Congratulations to Nigeria. Congratulations to the Executive Committee. It's been a long journey that we started about 15 months ago, and it's good to see that today is happening live. We're happy and thank everybody who have been part of this journey, and thanking the international president, Joseph Piquet. We had a lot of discussion right from when we were in Italy, how his vision for Nigerian chapter. We thank Daria. Daria is an expert in innovation for agreeing to join this and also lecture us a bit about innovation. And also Chus too, who actually helped to midwife this session when we met in Italy. So just to thank everybody who have been part of this journey and align the Brazilian triple helix case study that she put together to give us today. And so of course, this triple helix today wouldn't have been possible without the very, very good contribution from NCDMB. So we need to thank Engineer Simbi Wabute for actually pulling this through when triple helix gave us a very big hurdle to actually cross. So he actually picked up that and drive that through the current president. So we thank NCDMB and also thank the management of Cypher Crescent for actually working with NCDMB to support this initiative. And of course, given the support we've gotten from National Universities Commission, it's also really very good to see that the university is actually pushing through innovation, pushing through the third mission of university, where we move beyond training and move beyond research into innovation, entrepreneurship for national development. And so, of course, this listening to NIDA, this initiative to push this is actually very similar to the Startup Act. And having NIDA in this session actually shows that we want to galvanize all the efforts in the country to actually push innovation forward. We thank the initiative. Of course, Triple Helix, the concept actually started when we had Professor Jenka's presentation about 25 months ago in the NMPC webinar, where he challenged us to actually drive innovation, drive cost reduction in the industry through Triple Helix. And we're happy that he's here today to see that the initiative he pushed us has come to fruition. So we thank everybody, thank our president. Of course, Abdul Malik has actually worked tirelessly, Professor Mije and the rest of the team that have pushed this forward. So I'm so happy, and on behalf of the executive committee, I would like to thank everybody who have supported this initiative, and we're happy to have a Triple Helix in Nigeria. Thank you all.
All right. Thank you, thank God. And of course, as we close, there's a story of an elephant and a hare who needed to cross a bridge. You know, they needed to go from one side of the forest to the other side, and the hare was on the back of the elephant. And as the elephant got on the bridge, of course, you will expect the size of the elephant that made the bridge vibrate, made the bridge shake. And when they got to the other side where the other animals were gathered, guess who was the first to speak? The hare. The hare shouted, "Did you see how we shook that bridge? We shook the bridge." Well, the elephant kind of argued that the hare did not shake the bridge, because whether the hare weighed half a kilo or whatever the hare weighed, together they shook the bridge. Now, what's the moral of my story? It doesn't matter what any agency of government or industry, academia is bringing to the table. The idea is for anyone not to see each other as lesser than any other, but to allow Triple Helix Nigeria chapter to galvanize all the efforts of yesteryears and all the commitment of today in ensuring that whatever ideas that are being generated from our universities is utilized in our industries, and ultimately government is providing all the necessary support like we saw in Brazil. I was excited to see that even local governments were providing support in terms of tax incentives to drive these technology parks. So the race has begun. We can announce it all across the country, all across the industries, that Triple Helix Nigeria has come to stay, and let all the efforts that would break down the silos within these three key part of our economy, government, institution, and the academia start, and let the new dawn be given life in the innovation space of our country, our social life, our economic life, and we will all be the better for it. Richmond Suji is my name, is the first of many to come, and we will be here to celebrate all the accomplishments of this newly born association. As the Italians would say, arrivederci. Bye-bye.